Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So last Sunday I did a live and there were some people that passed through, and I said that if you could please respond to whatever that first video I posted after the live, I'd be sure to get to you. So I have a list of 18 people. I'm going to read to you. I'm going to use my timer. I'm going to try to stay under 3 minutes for each of you. I'm going to pull 3 cards. You get 1 charm and 3 cards, okay? So I have my John Holland deck, I have a past life energy deck, and then I have just a general love, career, finance. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of everything. I'm going to go through the list really quickly, and then I'm also going to timestamp. So go to the comment section and look for your name and the timestamp. So first person is going to be Davit. Then I have Ether, Real Girl, Psychic, Psychedelic, Nun 884, Simba Andrews, Star Dragon 9, Monica Nash 211, Carmen Kane, Cali for Christ, Yin B Yin in 310, Star 312, Anna Valentine Lee Beneficiary, Diella Daily, Anaconda for You, NSHW3SM, Yvonne W, Kaylin, Grounded Extracts, Marion from the Netherlands. You specifically were asking about justice, so I just made a note of that. And then we have Wendy, Bentley, 2711. So that's a total of 18 people. Check the timestamps and your name. I'm going to open with Psalms 23 and close with Psalms 91. So if you would like to stay for the Psalms, I'll timestamp it at the beginning and at the end. I want to make this a habit in my readings. We'll open. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me in all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Let's begin. All right, so before I pour cards, Davit, I am going to start with a charm, okay? So let's flip it, and Davit, this is 231. Okay, here we go. Let's get your charm. Alrighty. All right, charm for Davit is going to be, okay, this may be kind of like a stag, or the head of like a male deer. Look at those antlers. For anybody that knows about hunting and counting the points of an antler, right? My nails are going to be red throughout this because I dyed my hair. Okay, so what does this mean? Are you a hunter? Have you gotten a big kill? You know, oftentimes when we see this mountain on the wall, it's a symbol of like victory. It's a huge accomplishment. So this is a good way to begin, but nonetheless, go ahead and look up the spiritual meaning of deer, right? Specifically hunting, or the significance of the points, okay? All right, I'm gonna put that there. And then let's go ahead and get 3 cards for you, Davit. All right. So I love the John Holland deck. I believe it's like a combination. So we have harmony and patience. All right, so patience. So Davit, if you're sowing something, if you're creating something, if you're investing in something, whatever it is you're growing or building, even if you can't see the efforts, even if you can't see the impact of the work you've already done, the Most High saying, be patient, right? Some things take time. The same day that you put the seed in the ground is not going to be the same day that you receive the harvest. So patience, it is a fruit of the spirit, right? And so if there is a tool that you can employ while you're investing, harvesting, growing, or establishing, the Most High is saying, pull out some patience, right? And trust the process. Trust the process. All right, let's go ahead. This is going to be kind of like a I think I said past life, but this might actually be inner child. You know, this kind of represents like something subconscious. Yo, it's time to celebrate, cultivate an air of celebration today. So we've got the head of a buck, right, with the antlers. We've got patience, and then we've got it's time to celebrate. So let's get one more. Davit, whatever you're growing, whatever you're working on, whatever it is you're seeding, these are just good energies for you. Let's get one more. Now, this is kind of like a general card, right? It says, in the flow, the universe is sending you help. Tap into your inner power and go deeper to create the purposeful life you really want to have, right? And so in the flow means we're not resisting. In the flow, imagine that you're you're in a lazy river and you're in a tube, right? And in the flow means wherever the current of the river takes you. And so look to your left and look to your right for signs and symbols that the universe is really taking you to what it is that you want to have. When I say signs and symbols, I'm talking about numbers on a clock. I'm talking about specific words or phrases or animals, or those are the things that say, hey, guess what? You're in the flow, even if you don't know where you're going. Okay, Davit, that was for you. Now I'm going to start with at 555. This is going to be Ether, Real Girl, Psychedelic Nun, 884. Hey love, we talk often in the comments. I'm just going to shuffle these really quickly while I chat with you, but we talk often in the comments, so I love that I get to do a little mini read for you. Alrighty, and I'm going to start with a charm for you too. Let me just mix this up really quickly for you. All right, and I love that yours begins at 555. I hope that everybody pays attention to the timestamp because that is going to be significant. All right, so here we go, sweet pea. I'm going to flip it and let's get your charm. All righty. So we have, all right, now I'm going to turn it this way because there we go. Oh, look, this also just fell down. Leaf, but that is your charm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. Maybe I don't know enough about flowers, so I cannot tell you the type of flower that this is. I just don't know. Okay, but when I think of this, I think of delicate. I think of being gentle. That's the energy I feel. Delicate, gentle. I don't know why. Let's go ahead and pull some cards. Okay, delicate and gentle. Okay, now typically when more than one card comes out, I like to just, there we go. Oh, beautiful. So here, maybe it could help if I slow down. Material harvest. So this would be the 9 of Pentacles. This is self-sufficiency. This is abundance. This is saying that everything you have, it's really because you worked for it. Before the 9 of Pentacles is the 8 of Pentacles. That's hard work, focus, dedication. That's like tunnel vision, right? The 9 of Pentacles, it's like, whew, I'm at the end of this thing. Like now I can kind of celebrate everything that I've worked for. That's the energy of the 9. Let's go ahead and get an inner child message for you. I'm looking at your timer. We got 3 minutes. We're doing good. Alrighty, inner child message for Ethereal Girl, Psychedelic Nun, 884. Alrighty, inner child message, there we go. Alright, it is never truly the end. Beloved, in this, everything will be okay. So if you are experiencing any type of ending, really sometimes it's just, it's a version of a new beginning, right? And so where something ends, it's just because something else is picking up. So what is it that you feel is over and may not return? What is it in you, in your life, in whatever it is you're creating? I don't know. Is there a shift in your material harvest where you think, or you've experienced some type of end and maybe you feel like, not recoup, but like, not that you've lost anything necessarily. But you know, sometimes there are certain shifts and changes that take place and we feel like life will never be the same again, right? But we're never supposed to experience life the same again after that moment, okay? And so in everything, it will be okay. It is never truly the end. All right, let's get one more. You'll have to tell me why. Okay, our timer's almost done. We're doing good now. All right, I got one. Here we go. Brilliance. You discover your own genius by breaking away from the grind to follow your own inspiration. Your ideas bring recognition. So So whatever has ended is just really an experience or a version of you. And so this is almost like, okay, now go plug in a new light bulb, go buy a new lamp, right? Because the lamp you had, that light bulb went out, but it served its purpose. It gave you all the light that it could possibly give you, right? In terms of material harvest, in terms of whatever you're working on. We've got the flowers, that could be significant. So the idea is, it's just time to go buy a new light. It doesn't mean you won't have light. It doesn't mean you can't tap into brilliance, but maybe the hue of the light or the color of the bulb or something about it will be a little bit different, but it is still you. It's just you in a different tone, in a different frequency. Yeah. And so don't be afraid to be you. Don't be afraid to not be like the rest, right? Don't be afraid to be like the rest. Because whatever the brilliance is that you have, nobody else really possesses. And so you got to be willing to plug yourself in different ways to figure out why your light is different from everybody else's. So don't be afraid of plugging in to newness or new versions or varieties of self, right? Because it is when you do the new things that you discover the new things, and then you're like, aha, so this is why I'm me and nobody else can kind of be me, okay? I love you. All right, Simba Andrews, we're just going to go ahead and start you at 11. All right, Simba, here we go. I'm just going to shuffle this really quickly. We're going to do 3 cards. So I've got Inner Child. And I've got John Holland. And Simba, we are going to start with a charm, all right? And I'm going to try to do this in 3 minutes. Thank you for coming back, and thank you for being on that live. All right, Simba, here we go. And I'll flip our timer, 3 minutes. All right, here we go. Let's get a charm for Simba. All right, Simba. What do we, ooh, look at this. All right, so this is a dragon. So Simba, something about dragons may be significant. Obviously, you know what? Draconis. Simba, are you a Game of Thrones fan, a Khaleesi fan, if you know what I'm talking about? But I don't think I will ever be able to look at dragons again after Game of Thrones. And I kind of have a running joke with a friend of mine. And low-key, I'm Khaleesi. And yes, this is like the trigger word for it's time, okay? So listen, Simba, it may be time for something, okay? Let's go ahead and get your 3 cards and see what we got. We're doing good. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so this would be the 2 of Cups in traditional tarot, Simba, but this is the spiritual union. Look, this is a meeting of the minds, right? This is the meeting of the minds, and because your mind has locked with another, it's almost like whatever you 2 create when you sync up is going to fill this cup. And the cup overflows with bounty and beauty. And if you look at the symbol on the cup, it's an eternity. So this talks about endlessness. This talks about something that just never ends. I can't think of a word, but I know that there is a word to describe people who are sexually or intimately attracted when somebody mentally stimulates them. So how would you describe that person? Like, you know what I mean? There's a word to describe. I'm sorry, I can't recall it, but that card kind of gives me this. Your heart comes alive when you're mentally stimulated. When the conversation that you have with another, it touches you. I consider people to be like books, right? So every time I meet a new person, it's turning pages in their life. Every time they share different aspects with me, I'm reading a different chapter. Every time they turn a new page, I'm seeing, okay, so what happened next? And then, you know, and so genuinely you can experience connections with people because you may love to dig into their minds, right? Because of what this does to your heart. It says, here we go, connect to eternity within. So we talked about the eternity signal, and now it says, let yourself be held by love. And so here's the thing. Before we get to the actual person, we exist in the energy of love, right? And we hold that energy within ourselves. You are going to hold an energy of love within you, so much so that it will attract. Now, everything it attracts is not going to be your equal. Those are the tests. That is how you really discover what it is you're carrying, by putting yourself with people who really can't match or provide you with what you need, right? But the spiritual union, it talks about when you are finally comfortable with what love is. And let's just talk about what is love. We're gonna go right past this 3 minutes. I already know. Let me pull this while I talk. Love is detachment. Love is detachment, which is crazy, because when you think about loving someone or something, you think about holding on to it and never, ever letting it go, never parting with it, never missing a moment with it. But true love understands that love exists outside of the physical. It exists outside of just the 3D realm. And so you could be in one state and your lover is elsewhere. And do you still love them? Can you still feel that energy with them? Of course you can, because it exists outside of physical boundaries. That existence of love is where you sit. That is where you naturally exist. Let's get one more. So when you could give and take. So Simba, this is about love and relationships. It says, be open to giving and receiving to keep the flow of abundance going. Give someone a chance and ask for what your heart desires. So hold on. So we had the dragon, right? We had spiritual union, connect to eternity within, given. So this is a heart message. Simba, this is a message about love. You have to feel safe to love. You have to trust that you know how to love. And love is crazy, because once you feel it, you don't want to not feel it, you know? And so holding on to people, places, and things because we love them, it's actually we're living in the fear of losing them. Love is like, listen, wherever you are, I'm going to love you no matter what. I got, like, you know, I don't. And so it's a maturity. It's an understanding that nothing can break this. Nothing, you know, it really does exist out of the physical. So you have to be willing to accept love, right? You have to be willing to accept love, which also means you have to be willing to lose love. That is detachment. This is the greatest thing. And I'm also at peace if I don't have it one day. Like, that's the emotional maturity. When you can get to that moment, your heart is willing to experience anything because it's not afraid of the possible outcome of not having it anymore, because it knows it's endless. It never stops. Love it exists everywhere at all times, not just in one dimension, right? And so the maturity in you, recognizing that, is what will allow you to experience the spiritual union that you are called to live with another. Simba, I love you. Okay, so Star Dragon 9, I'm going to start you at 1730. Star Dragon 9, here we go, 1730. Alrighty, so I'm going to shuffle through this just really quickly. I'm going to start with a charm, okay? And we get 3 minutes on our timer. I'm trying to do 3 minutes, but y'all, I be talking. So Star Dragon 9, we might go over 3 minutes, okay? All right, I gave all these a little shuffle. Let me go ahead and do your charm. All right, here we go. Star Dragon 9, Star Dragon 9. Your charm is, oh, so cool. Okay, so would these be glasses? Glasses, okay? So vision, clarity, focus, perspective, sight, insight, foresight, hindsight. This is all kinds of sight. Now, if we want to call these sunglasses, this is like night vision. This is being able to see, maybe be, you know, sunglasses protect your eyes from too much of something, right? And so this is dealing with vision, however that translates. Now let's get the other cards. I don't know if I turned our charm. Okay, I just turned our charm over. All right, here we go. First one, we have obstacles and challenges. So this would be the 5 of Wands, right? Now listen, you can get across, but it's not necessarily easy. It's not necessarily comfortable, right? It will take some thought, but the orbs around you say that you're not alone, right? And so any obstacle or challenge that you face, is an experience that you are going to face. Even when you feel you're alone, you're really not alone, right? So tap into the guide. There are guides around you that will help you get from that broken plank to the other plank, okay? Whatever the obstacle or whatever the challenge is, it is a step. It's not a climb, it's not a leap, it is a step. An uncomfortable step, a step that you must think about, a step that you must consider, a step that you must seek higher guidance for. Nonetheless, it is a step that you can take. Once you get across that plank, can you understand how you were going to feel? That is the beauty of the challenge. That is the beauty of the obstacle. It is when you move past it, the celebration of self, that you made it. That's what we're actually going for. The obstacle and the challenge will come. What we're living for, the meat of it, right? The obstacle and the challenge would be the bones. We like to spit out the bones, eat the meat, spit out that obstacle and spit out that challenge and live in the meat. Live in the moment of when you are beyond it, okay? Let's get one more. There's kind of like little gnats around, kind of annoying me. Okay, here we go. Star Dragon 9. Perfect. All right, so let it come forth. Give yourself permission to feel it. So vision, we had our glasses, right? So there is something that you were being asked to look at. You may see it as an obstacle or challenge, but you are being asked to consider it from the perspective of your emotions, right? Physically, you see this thing in this way, in the 3D, right? But emotionally, how are you describing, seeing, and sensing the same experience? Okay, let's just get one more. Let it come forth. Give yourself permission to feel it. And then we have good luck. Well, that's beautiful. Your fortune is improving and you will get a lucky break soon. Collect nuggets of wisdom. You will need them in the near future. Okay. Whatever you're about to jump over, prepare to celebrate when you get over. Don't stay too long in the fact that you have to get over something, right? Live in the meat of being beyond the moment, okay? The second message, give yourself permission to feel it. Let it come forth. Listen, the obstacle and the challenge is really leading you to an energy of good luck. You know, sometimes when you know you're in a different space, in a different energy, like you know things are, like you know how you can feel something good coming? But because everything in front of you is not quite the way it would look when things are good, it's hard to believe that something good could be coming. And so this is telling me to kind of clean your spectacles, fix your vision, right? You are in the energy of good luck. Allow it to come forth. And sometimes living in a positive energy can be quite hard if you've been through long periods of devastation. Truly believing that good can come to you sometimes is very hard to come by, okay? So that could be the obstacle. That could be the challenge. Living in positivity, shifting your perspective from what it was to what it is now, okay? I love you, Star Dragon 9. This is going to be for Monica Nash to 11. I'm going to start you at 22:55. Hi, Monica. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me see what time I got. I'm checking sun. Okay, we're doing good with daylight. Okay, so I'm going to give these a quick shuffle, Monica. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you are my fifth one. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to give these 3 decks a quick shuffle, and then I'm going to start with, excuse me, I'm going to start with a charm, okay? So let's start with a charm. I'm going to do your charm, and then I'm going to flip this, okay? Here we go. So a charm from Monica Nash to 11. We started this at 22:55, which could be significant. Your charm is, what do we have? What does the fox say? Is this a fox? Do you think this is a fox? I think that's a fox. Do you remember that YouTube song? What does the fox say? I would say that's like circa 2013, 2014. I think it was like a Just Dance thing. So when I think of a fox, if that is a fox, when I think of a fox, I think of something swift and cunning. Sometimes a fox has to be witty. It has to be able to outthink and outsmart, right? Fox, they're not necessarily the biggest, right? So when I think of fox, I truly think of intellect, but I think of intellect matched with like physical prowess, right? And so the quicker your mind, the quicker the body is, right? Wherever your mind goes, the body follows. And so this is saying that the power of your mind will definitely be reflected in the power of your body, okay? Let's go ahead and pull 3 cards. And I'm not going to keep it, but we're just going to talk about it. So this would be the Seven of Cups. This would be choose wisely. So this is like, listen, take a moment. I'm going to flip it now. Take a moment. Consider all your options. Look at it from every direction and then decide, right? But definitely take a moment before deciding whatever. First message is, this would be 4 of Swords, rest and rejuvenate. So mental, listen, if you have mentally been exhausted, if you've mentally had to exhaust yourself for whatever reason, this is a period where you step away, you intentionally isolate yourself in order to relax and to relieve your mind, right? You do nothing, which absolutely simultaneously is doing everything, right? Because if you take a break and do nothing, you will allow yourself to refuel so that you can then go do everything again. But this is a mental break. This is about communication. So this is in your mind. This is in your speaking. This is in you communicating with another. All right, pull yourself close. Every part of your being is deserving of love. And so in this rest, in this rejuvenation, this is about you loving on you. This is about you pulling every piece of you that you maybe had to drop off or leave behind in order to go do something else. This is about being like, okay, Monica, all right, baby, come on, bring it all to, come on in, let's go, right? This is that part where you just pull yourself in, no matter how you think or feel about whatever it is that you just went through, whatever this, you know, communication also talks about information, learning something, whatever this was. Every part of you is deserving of love. So when you set yourself apart in isolation, you have to intentionally do it to collect the pieces of you that are scattered, to possibly collect the pieces of you that were left behind elsewhere. Okay? This is also collecting the mental pieces of you. You know how like you can be like, it's Tuesday, but maybe something so crazy happened on Sunday. Although you're living in Tuesday, mentally you're in Sunday. Which is why this is almost like, okay, stop, catch up to the present moment, sort through whatever happened, right? All right, now let's get one more. We're doing pretty good, Monica. Okay, here we go, connections. Okay, so I'm going to show you and then I'm going to read. It says build bridges between people. Contact those who can help you. Your actions set you up for the next opportunity. Okay, so listen, when you are in isolation, you're pulling yourself together. You're getting your team together. You're getting your squad, all your energies, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual. You're getting all yourself together. And you're really repackaging yourself up so that you can go right back out again and connect with somebody else. But you want to connect from a place of strength and stability and surety in self, okay? So we had the fox, rest and rejuvenate. You could have dealt with a sly fox that mentally exhausted you. So now you got to collect yourself, pull yourself together, love on yourself in every way possible, and recognize that connections are significant to you, to your expansion, right? And so you set yourself up for success by putting yourself out there from your strongest form, right? And you use people as bridges. People, you know, one person leads you to this experience and this opportunity and then the next, and they truly are bridges, but they're bridges to your own opportunities, right? So it's recognizing why we connect to people and the value and the benefit of connecting. But in the event you've dealt with somebody that was devilish or sly or not direct, it can make sense that you're like, yo, I need to take a break before I talk to anybody else again. I need to sit this one out, you know? And so sit out, love on yourself, and then consider the connections that you can take part in moving forward. Okay, thank you so much, Monica. All right, this is going to be for Carmen Kane. Carmen, we're going to start you at 29.29. 29.29 for Carmen Kane. Okay, Carmen, I'm going to give these a quick shuffle. I'm going to pull 3 cards. Alrighty. And I'll start with your charm. And I will flip our 3-minute timer, Carmen, after our charm. So let's go ahead and do a charm. All right, first up. Oh, we've got a star. Now, this came out last Sunday in the live. And this reminds me of like the Macy's star or just like a New Year's Eve star. Like, it's just not a star. Like, this is a star that's got some layers of like shine, sparkle. Like, it dazzles differently, right? This is a star that's got like, this is robust, okay? So something is significant about star. That could be star power. That could be shining, being seen. You can be a star. You can be in star energy. Okay, let's go ahead and get 3 cards and I'll flip our timer. All right, Carmen. All right, here we go. First card out. Okay, first card out we have is Solitude. Now, Solitude in traditional tarot would be the Hermit card, the major arcana card. And so this isn't necessarily being in isolation because we're disappointed with the way life has gone. This is being like, maybe I'm not too pleased with how life is going. So I am specifically choosing to separate myself, or in the event that solitude was forced upon us, nonetheless, this is choosing to use solitude as a moment to study, right? And so this book specifically is the Akashic Records, right? This is like, listen, we all came back to Earth to take the greatest class, and the greatest class that we're taking is the class of ourself. You're never going to be who you are again, right? And so sometimes when you step away, it's because you're seeking wisdom, you're seeking knowledge, you're trying to find the way. And you have to be in the world long enough to be like, okay, I need to know more. I need to learn more. There's something I'm missing. And so solitude is a moment to step away, but it is a very individualized experience, right? My solitude and your solitude are different because, listen, when we start discovering and learning and opening up books, our soul is guiding us to what we need to learn. And wherever my soul tells me to go, your soul is not going to will tell you to go somewhere different. So this is trusting yourself also while in solitude to seek the information and trust the guidance that comes forth. Next one, we have set boundaries, claim your power, and know your value today. And so while in solitude, this is about protecting your peace. Maybe while out in the world prior to you taking this time with self, maybe you were exhausted. Maybe people were pulling on you to the point that you felt depleted. Maybe you didn't even feel like you had enough power to use in your own life for your own success or your own advancement and evolution. And so this is like, okay, I've been in the world and I existed in the world in this way. My boundaries were a little bit lax. All right. So now when I step back, I'm stepping back because I'm learning myself, but I'm learning myself from the perspective of the version that I just was. Everything that worked is cool. I'll keep it. Everything that didn't work, I'd like to do it differently, right? And so the doing it differently is the discovery. That is the hermit. The doing it differently is not necessarily you knowing exactly. It's you being willing to know. It's you being willing to discover, right? And so while in solitude, protect your boundaries. Know that you are worth having boundaries. People don't just get to pick and pull on you at any time in any way. You have value. And when you don't have enough energy, you are not able to you lose value, right? Your ability to output, it is not in the same intensity because you are working with only 30% of you, right? And so this is coming out of solitude and being like, I know I need 85% of me every day to feel successful. So no, I'm not going to be sitting on the phone. No, I'm not going to be picking up all these tasks. No responsibilities can I carry that don't belong to me. All right, let's get one more card. All right, last one for Carmen, Kane. Alrighty, that was 2. Let's try to just get 1. So solitude, set boundaries, claim your power, know your value, and look, that's so beautiful, gifts. You are uncovering new talents that will land you new work and a better position. You could get more money with the deal as well. So the beautiful thing about solitude is you're going to have a moment to unwrap the gifts that you were carrying within that you may not have been able to divinely unwrap. One, because you may have been in the company of people who didn't value you, or abused your power, took too much of you, right? Benefited off of poor boundaries, right? So now that you're alone, it's like the Most High is like, okay, baby, Carmen, guess what we put inside of you? And this is where you get to discover. That's the Akashic Records. That's the discovery of soul. That's it, is the discovery of self, your own uniqueness, okay? I love you, Carmen. Thank you so much. Our next one is going to be Cali for Christ. I'm going to start you at 35.25. Cali for Christ, 35.25. Here we go. I'm going to show. Whoa. Sorry. Okay, I'm coming. I'm coming, Cali. Okay. Sorry about that. So it just jumped off the table. That's okay. Hey, look, that did not happen in anybody else's reading. So, Callie, is that significant for some reason? That could be significant, okay? Everything is relative with energy, okay? So, sorry, my hand's all, I'm just trying to fix this. Okay, here we go. Callie for Christ. We started at 35.25, but we started with that, okay? So, what is that energy about? All right, let me shuffle these really quickly, and we'll start with your charm, and then I will flip our 3-minute timer. Okay, Callie for Christ. Here we go, Callie. Your charm, an old sewing machine. We'll just call it a Singer. Look at that. Okay. So sewing specifically can be unique and specific to you. Maybe there's an old sewing machine you need to dust off. Maybe you're interested in getting one. But let's spiritually, what do you think of when we talk about sewing? I think of stitching things together that you can use for long periods of time, right? Stitching different fabrics in different ways, different materials, but it's bringing together a variety in order to create a unity. That's what I think of sewing. And it's, it's bringing together, but it's also about clothing. It's also about coverings and beautifying. So we could totally go. I love sewing. Here we go. All right, Callie for Christ. All right, here we go. Oh, let me flip our 3-minute timer. Here we go. So this is going to be a card from my John Holland deck. All right, Callie for Christ. So this is mental conflict. Mental conflict would be the 2 of Swords in traditional tarot. So this is like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to choose. I don't know where, this is like being blocked, right? Like you have your mind, but then inside of your mind is like you. And so your first mind is talking to your second mind, and both of you are arguing about what to do. So you're mentally conflicted because, that's the energy of being pulled to the point where you don't have proper vision. Perspective is poor. You're unable to see clearly. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. Now, the 2 of Swords is it's only the second card in the Journey of Swords, right? So right before the 2 is the Ace. The Ace is like truth, clarity. And then once you have the information, well, now you got to decide something. The test of the 2 of Swords, it's not about choosing the right way. It is about choosing. That is it. Because once you choose, the mental conflict will cease because you will have a concrete understanding of where your choice led you. You'll no longer have to battle between this and that. So the test of the 2 of Swords is literally to choose, okay? You know those little gnats, those bugs? When I lived in North Carolina, they call them no-see-ums. It's like I can't see them, but I'm like feeling them. All right. So this, okay. You do not have to go it alone. Reach out for support in this time. So whatever you are mentally conflicted about, this is saying you literally don't have to choose alone. Whatever it is that is challenging you mentally, that you are just not really feeling too stable or sure about, seek out another. Now let me tell you about wise counsel. The type of people that you ask, one, I'll just be very juvenile. If I want to lose weight, I'm not going to go to an obese person. If I want to maintain my marriage, I am not going to go to a divorced person or a single or a sad person. So when you are looking for support, seek out people that have already achieved and established and reached the outcome that it is you are seeking for, right? So when I'm talking about wise counsel, meaning the counsel that you are about to get, it should have wisdom, not only that you hear, but that you can see. Wisdom is applied. So the person you talk to must have the, y'all, I'm itching. The person you talk to has to have the knowledge. But wise counsel means that you have seen again and again how they have applied this knowledge to their own life. That's wisdom. That's the type of wise counsel that you should be seeking out for, okay? Let's get one more. Okay. Woohoo. Oh, we're doing pretty good too. We just ended our 3-minute timer and we're making it to our final one, okay? Oh, I got 2. Okay. How about this, Callie? Whatever comes out, even if it's 2, I'll take it. It was just 1. Strategy. This is so relative. It says you need a step. Okay. You need a step-by-step plan of attack to reach the next level. Get the advice of someone who is already where you want to go. To kneel, better talk. Callie, for Christ, I just said that, right? So the strategy that you were seeking that will help you with the mental conflict, the support you need has got to come from somebody that's already there. Don't go ask no fat person how to be skinny or no broke person how to be wealthy. Seriously, because sometimes we pull on the people closest to us that we're most comfortable with, even if they haven't arrived at the place that we're trying to get to. We just trust them because they're supportive. We love them. They love us. You know what I'm saying? So the counsel should be wise. I'm itching. Okay. Maybe that's significant for you too, Callie. I love you, Callie. Bye-bye. Okay, this is going to be Yin B in 310. I'm going to start you at 4151. 4151. Okay. Hey, love. Let me go ahead and just shuffle these up really quickly. I'm going to pull 3 cards, and then I'm also going to pull 3 cards, and I'm going to start with the charm, okay? So I'm going to try to, we'll try to keep it for like 3 minutes. All right, let's start with your charm. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I love this. It's a crab. Look at that, a little crab. All right, so when I think of crabs, I think crabs are just very cautious, right? They're, even the way they walk, they're sideways, they're always on defense, like they're always prepared to defend themselves. They're not afraid to defend themselves. Listen, crabs don't care about how big you are. They can still find your toe. They can still find the tip of your nose or your earlobe, right? And so no matter how big the prey or whatever it is, I feel like piece by piece, you find those little pieces that you can get, and listen, it hurts just the same, okay? So a crab could be significant for a different reason. Maryland crabs, I think of crab cakes, I think of good food. Oh my gosh. So crabs, spiritually look up the significance of crabs. Okay, so let's go ahead. I turned our 3-minute timer and I'll get 3 cards. Okay. Oh, beautiful. So new beginnings is equivalent to the Fool card in tarot. So listen, this is a new beginning where everything you need mostly is going to be within you, right? The person has a staff and like a satchel. right? A crossbody bag, not much else, but they're literally walking out into the world. And so the Fool card says that if you want to be wise, if you want to know the way, you've got to be willing to empty yourself, right? All of us, we know a lot, but the one thing that we should always know is that we really know nothing at all. And so this is the ability to be a fool again, to know nothing at all about the new beginning that you're going into. Take very little with you and to jump in completely empty so that you can be filled. I almost say fulfilled. That could be true too. All right, let's pick. So we've got crab. We've got new beginning. This is going to be kind of like an inner child energy card. It says flow with the rhythm. Get lost in the rhythm of movement today. So you move your body. Move your body. Get lost in the rhythm of movement. You know, there are many different ways to meditate. Initially, when I thought about meditation, I just always thought about stillness. And in my own immaturity, I'm not always ready to be still, right? But there are many ways to meditate. And meditation is really about emptying your mind, getting it to a place where it's no longer carrying thought after thought after thought. You want to get to the point where you have some separation, some time in between your thoughts, where you're literally just existing in moments. And so I am suggesting in this new beginning, maybe this is a new beginning in your own body where you are moving. Maybe this is physical movement, but this is about a rhythm. This is about a flow. This is about something that flows within you. That is the energy that you are asked to get lost in. Now, in order to tap into this new energy that is in you, that is tied to this new beginning, literally you could just be asked to dance, whether you have rhythm or not. Dance. YouTube videos. Learn how to do a dance. There are so many, and this could be something that only you do, right? But I want you to practice one dance and to learn it. Learn it to the point where you get lost. You forgot the fact that you didn't used to know it. You forgot the fact that you were practicing it. Like, make it your own. Like, find a dance. This could be the most odd thing for you. Maybe not, right? But master a dance. There are choreographies on YouTube. Literally, get lost in that experience and make that something that is a part of this new beginning. That could be something totally foreign to you, okay? Let's get one more. All right, we finished our 3-minute timer. That's okay. We're at our last card, and we have locked, okay? It says, work you want may not be in reach now. You can take a temp position while waiting or while awaiting an opening. Your new place offers job security. So in this new beginning, maybe there's an experience that maybe you want to move into something, but you feel like there's an opportunity you can't get to because you're locked out of it. And so this is saying the thing that you may want to get to in the end is not yet there, but there are certain smaller things that you can do temporarily until the thing that you really want opens up. And so the thing about a lock is that it's not locked forever. It's only locked until the key unlocks it. Now the key, we don't know where the key comes from. Is it a key? Does it come from you? Does it come from somewhere else? So get lost in the rhythm of movement. So maybe getting lost in your own rhythm in this new beginning is what unlocks things. Literally getting lost, not knowing the way. I talked about the new beginning literally being a fool, like emptying yourself and just being willing to know nothing about the new thing, right? And maybe when you are finally comfortable with knowing nothing, maybe that is the key that unlocks that next level. Okay, I love you. Thank you. Okay, this one, I'm going to start you at 4757. 4757. This is Laster 312. 4757. Here we go. All right, so I try to keep these for 3 minutes, but if they go over, that's totally fine. I've got a general deck. I've got inner child. I've got kind of like a oracle blend. And then I'll start with your charm. Okay, so this is the charm for Laster 312, starting at 4757. Okay, here we go. All right, what do I get? Ooh, longhorns. Check this out. Okay, so Texas is immediately what I think of. I think of barbecue. I think of big animals. I don't know. So this is what I get. So Texas could be significant. Longhorns, barbecue food, maybe looking up the spiritual significance of this and seeing how that relates to the reading. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and flip our 3-minute timer and I'll pull 3 cards. Here we go. This is for Laster 312 or Lastar 312. Uh-oh, that one almost flipped, but I didn't keep it. I really prefer only one to come. Okay, I just got this one for another one. So this is Solitude. So in major arcana, this would be the Hermit card. So the Hermit card, I heard one time from another reader that the Hermit was the emperor that lost it all. Okay, so the emperor gets to the point where he's got his kingdom, his dynasty, but then in his travels he loses it, and the only way to gain it again is to leave the world, to isolate yourself in solitude and to find another way. But the only way that you can find a way is to go within. Okay, so this Solitude, now specifically in this deck on this image, the book, that is the Akashic Records. So this is saying, listen, you are never going to be you again. You're only going to be you one time. And so when you are stepping away in solitude, you're really stepping away to understand self. Sometimes we exist in the world for a period of time, and the world is not always going to give us self. The only way to really discover self, your own uniqueness, is to step away. But you got to trust what you hear. Nobody else can be you. You're never going to exist again, right? And so whatever surfaces in your own isolation and in your own solitude, this is about trusting it, going with it. Now this one is going to be like inner child, right? So these are those subconscious things that we carry around that we don't always know we're carrying around, but they impact the conscious decisions that we make long-term, short-term, day-to-day, whatever it may be. All right, so it says seek guidance in this. It's time for a different perspective. So I talked about solitude being, an opportunity to really discover your own way. The hermit doesn't step away because he's pissed off at the world. The hermit steps away because he's like, listen, if I continue in this way, life won't amount to anything, right? So I step away. But seeking guidance, when you step away, it's really about your perspective, okay? I often talk about patience. When we think of patience, we think of waiting. Patience isn't necessarily about waiting, but it's about how you wait, the attitude, the temperament, right? It's about the mental, like, what are you thinking about while you wait? Like, do you have a bad attitude? Are you okay with waiting? And so that's the energy of changing your perspective. Whatever it is that you are in, let me get one more. So we started with the Stag, then I got the Hermit. It's time for a different person. So here's the thing about solitude. So when you are operating with just you have the ability to advance, but the way you use your time matters. Everybody's got 24 hours, but not everybody does the same thing with the 24 hours, okay? So when you're in solitude, how you spend your time matters. Your perspective matters. If you're wallowing, if you're unhappy, if you're grieving, if you're in some type of misery, then think about the quality of how you've just spent that 24 hours, because when the next 24 hours has come, you've just set yourself up to live that one again, okay? And so when we're talking about perspective, even in solitude, the way you think about self and life and being in solitude is what sets you up for the next 24. So be mindful of how you spend your present 24, because they are building your next ones. Okay, this is our final one. I think I'm past our 3 minutes, but that's okay. All right, here we go. We started at 47:57. Sometimes if more than one comes out, I do like to, okay, here we go. So we have freedom. Immediately, I think of mental freedom. It says you need to have more flexibility with your schedule, your income. Being self-employed is ideal. Time off will help you get clear. So maybe you are considering stepping away from something and blazing your own trail. That is not always an easy thing to do. The matrix is constructed in a way that stops us from truly being able to break away from it. You have to break away from it on many planes. There's not one way to separate from the matrix, right? It's plugged onto us in a variety of ways, a variety of dimensions, multiple timelines. So whatever it is that you are wanting to be free from, whatever it is that has you feeling bound or stuck or tied down, that is the thing that you are seeking guidance for. That is why you are in solitude. Listen, your soul just might be a soul that has a different path, that just is not built to exist in the matrix. Listen, think about it. We're born, we go to school, we go to college, we go to work, we retire, we die, right? We have children, we marry, we have grandchildren, we take care of them as long as we can, and we die. Like, the matrix sets everybody up on the same path, no matter what. That is not the path that everybody can walk. And when your soul is resisting that, when your soul feels bound and unfree or jailed or imprisoned, you must honor that. That is why solitude is necessary, because your soul is like screaming, like, get me out of this thing. You know what I mean? So seek guidance and adjust your perspective. Whatever it is that you are wanting to be free from, consider the way that you can make that happen, right? Sometimes it seems impossible because of the many ways in which we are bound to the matrix, to this 3D earthly life. And so taking time away is where you can get that perspective change and where you can get the guidance. But the guidance is really internal. It's your own voice that you have to trust and that you have to hear. Okay, Laster, thank you so much. I am going to start the next one at 5533. Okay, 5533. Valentine. Anna, we talk all the time. Okay, 5533. Hi, Anna. Okay, this is going to be our 3-minute read. Thank you for showing up last week. Alrighty, so I'm going to timestamp this for you. I'm going to pull 3 cards, but I'm going to start with the charm. And after I pull the charm, I'll go ahead and flip our 3-minute timer, okay? Let's go ahead and get a charm. Here we go, Anna. Alrighty. Star. Okay, so Anna, this is what we got. This is your message. Now, naturally, when I see this, I think honestly, I thought of the Christmas nativity. Maybe it's just like a seasonal thing, but so what does this mean for you? When, in terms of tarot, the star card comes after the tower card. And the star card literally says that even after destruction and devastation, there's always a glimmer of hope and faith that you hold on to. And it is only, you know how they say biblically, the faith of a mustard seed? You only need to find a flicker to rebuild again. Listen, if you want to set a forest fire, you don't need a lot. Literally, one flicker has the ability to create a whole new blaze. And so that is what I personally think of when I see the star. I think of hope and faith, even after darkness. So I'm going to put that to the side, Anna, and I'm going to go, I'm going to flip our 3-minute timer, and I'm going to go ahead and pull 3 cards. Now, if 2 come out, I typically put them back. I prefer to have 1. Alrighty, here we go. I'm getting a lot. Okay, so this is my John Holland deck. I consider this deck, I'm keeping both of them, Anna. All right, so we've got 2 cards. So these are both wands. So this is fire, okay? We've got passion ignited and stand your ground. In traditional tarot, this would be the Ace of Wands and the 7 of Wands. And so this is like, listen, whatever it is you're passionate about is also something that you may have to protect because maybe it will be challenged, okay? Let me go ahead and get another one. Okay, so your passion is tied to your purpose. I talked about how even after destruction, after the tower card comes the star. So for both of your cards to be in the energy of fire, that's that feeling of being ignited, right? It's like something's flowing in you and it's taking off, it's growing, it's expanding. Now, Be mindful, when I think of stand your ground, of those that may want to put your fire out, or those that may not appreciate your passion, those that may not see eye to eye, right? So the thing about passion is that it is unique to the person that carries it. Not everybody is going to share the same sentiment, the same belief, ideas, or emotions. So when you are carrying your flame, recognize that it is only a flame that you are carrying. Nobody else is really supposed to understand or honor what it is that you carry. So protect it, knowing that, right? Stand your ground in keeping your flame safe. Be present. Be present. Find clarity in the moment. And so, I mentioned in another personal reading that even, let's say today's Tuesday. Now, we totally could be living in Tuesday, but if something happened on Sunday that was so fucked up, I can be living in Tuesday and my mind, my spirit, and my emotions are still existing in Sunday. And so this is asking you to live in the present moment. Whatever the fire is, whatever the passion is that you're carrying, you want it to grow. But sometimes if we don't protect it, or if we live in another space that is not the true present, then our fire has a tendency to go out because we're not honoring its present energy, like we're not looking at it, right? So literally imagine you have this flame that you don't want to go out. So the people around you, the things that they speak, right? Think about the things that people think. It can either grow your fire or shrink your fire, right? You don't want anybody to blow it. You don't want anybody to take your momentum away. Let me get one more. New life. It says you may get a fresh start or be called to bring a new perspective to your old job. Job can be anything. It doesn't have to be job. It can be relationship. It can be diet. It's anything that you've already existing in. Even if you don't get out of that thing, you can still make it new. You may also get a tempting job offer or a new place. So listen, you've got this fire, but you are required to protect it. In order to protect it, you've got to be present. Why must you be present? Because in being present, you will always have clarity about how to keep it going, about how to keep it growing, right? So the only way to protect this new passion, this new energy that's like thriving, right, is to hold it and to maintain your focus on it. Don't get caught back there. Don't get caught anywhere else. Be present. Focus on that thing. Why? Because that is what grows into the new life. When this grows, it grows into newness. The newness doesn't always have to be something new. It can be new energy in something old. Anna, I love you. Thank you so much. All right, Diella Daily. Diella, I'm starting you at 101.50. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to start with a charm. I'm going to shuffle the decks. And then I'll set our timer. Diella Daily, you are like the Cash App queen. Like, you bless me tremendously on Cash App, and I thank you so, so much. I'm grateful that I get to do this with you. You bless me consistently, whether it is a Cash App, it's a message, it's just a heart, a comment. Every time I see your thumbnail, it makes me smile. I just think the essence of your picture, that is exactly what I feel when I exchange with you in any way. So I appreciate you and thank you. We're going to start with your charm. Here we go. Here we go. All right, Diella, our charm, oh my gosh, seahorse. And so personally, when I think about seahorse, I know that they are monogamous, right? And I also know that the male, the father seahorse, plays a significant role in like the nurturing or not child rearing, but like the pregnancy. I don't know if it's the male that carries the eggs but something. Okay, so those are the things that I personally think about when I see seahorse. What do you think of? Are these creatures, animals significant to you in any kind of way. If you do not have anything that just naturally draws you to the seahorse, I would say spiritually look up the significant, Google spiritual significant of a seahorse and see why that was the charm. See why that energy of the charm is significant to you. Okay, so now I'll pull our 3-minute timer and I'll go ahead and get us 3 cards. Oh, so the seahorse, and then look, now in traditional tarot, this would be 2 of Cups. This is the spiritual union. And so what did I say about the seahorse? I know that they are monogamous creatures. And so listen, whether you're a part of a spiritual union or soon to join one, this is just beautiful energy. And it makes sense that love would surround you because I can feel it. I can feel it when I exchange with you in any way. I absolutely know that. All right, so this is going to be kind of like an inner child. It says, emotions are the reflection. Look for the deeper meaning. Okay, so I often, I like to say that emotions, consider your dashboard of a car. All of those lights and meters and gauges are really indicating something that is happening within the car that you cannot see, right? Emotions are the same way. So when the emotion surfaces, it's really indicating something that is happening deeper, okay? And so whatever the emotions are that you are feeling, you are being asked to reflect and just dig a little more. Now, this could be connected to a significant person who is in the energy of this 2 of Cups, this spiritual union. All right, let's get one more. This is beautiful. All right, let's get one more. Okay, here we go. It says gestures. You may be asked to help someone out, or you may need a hand. Give deserved praise to others, and you will receive recognition too. And so this is saying, listen, you know how we often hear closed mouths don't get fed? Same is true for a closed hand, right? And so if you want to receive anything from anyone, you've got to have your hand open. Having your hand open, sometimes it's easier to give than it is to receive. And I say that because when you give to another, you are in control. You're in control of everything. But in order to totally imagine opening your hand and closing your eyes. Imagine walking through life like that, walking through love, walking into a relationship like this, and just trusting that you will receive what it is that you've been giving out to others. That's easy to say and it's hard to do, but that is literally what love and exchange and gestures and help is. Every time this makes me think of a proverb: to give is to save. And so I was talking about this with a friend recently. To give is to save. What am I saying? Every time you give to someone, which you do often because I'm one of the people that you bless, right? Every time you give to someone, the universe is like, well, damn, Diella, I don't have to give it to them. I was going to give it to her, but you gave it to her. So guess what? The portion that I was going to give to her, you just gave to her. So now I'm just going to put it over here for you when you need it. Do you understand? Every time you give to another, you are really saving for yourself because the universe has recognized that, you're co-creating. So every time you give, you're really saving yourself. The universe is like, oh, I don't have to give it to him because you did. I'll put it over there for you. It'll come back to you when you need it most. That's the energy of gestures. Every time you offer help, it comes back to you. So whatever this spiritual union is, we got the energy of seahorse, whatever the emotions that you are feeling. Remember, they're just like indicators on the dashboard. They're not always true. They're not always indicative of what's really going on within. So ask yourself more, dig deeper, and your gestures, I think, are going to return to you, and they may return to you in the form of a significant partnership. But we got the energy of the seahorse. I love you. Thank you for being you and loving me. Alrighty. Next up, I'm going to start at 108.18. 108. 18. This is going to be for Anaconda for you. Anaconda for you. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle our 3 decks. I've got like a general deck, an inner child deck, and then John Holland's tarot, which to me is a beautiful blend between tarot and oracle. All right, Anaconda for you. I will start with your charm. After I pull your charm, I'll go ahead and flip our 3-minute timer. All right, here we go. Butterfly. All right, Anaconda for you, we've got a butterfly as your charm. Butterflies make me think of metamorphosis, transformation. One of my favorite books is The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Maybe that is a children's book that you are familiar with, or maybe it could be one that you would appreciate listening to. So you can YouTube The Very Hungry Caterpillar. But butterflies are the aftermath of the transformation. They are the aftermath of the metamorphosis. And so getting to finally have your wings means that, listen, first you had to crawl, you were hairy, you weren't the most attractive. No, I'm just kidding. But when I'm just describing the characteristics of the journey, of the cycle. In order to get here, the beginning phases of that journey weren't necessarily the most beautiful or the most comfortable, but nonetheless, you have your wings. Okay, now I didn't take it because it didn't fully flip, but that was the throat chakra. So if there's something you need to say, if there is a truth you need to speak, if there is information that you need to know, it will come. Okay, so the first card we get is the shadow. And so shadow talks about the moon energy. Now, think really quickly. Imagine going for a run outside when it's sunny versus going for a run outside at night. Now listen, you can see quite a distance in front of you in the daytime to feel confident, to feel safe. But running at night is equivalent to what you would feel in the moon card. Sometimes in life, we are in situations or scenarios where it feels like we are outside at night. We can't see everything. We don't understand everything. Like, do I really see something, or is it just an illusion? And so the relationship between you and your shadow is what really determines how well you can get through those shadow moments of life where you're not able to see the reality, or you're not able to see past the illusions. You're not really able to discern the truths just yet, right? And so this is shadow energy. This is asking you to be mindful of your own shadow, because sometimes if we're walking through life at night, right? Sometimes we go through life at night, poor visibility. We don't know what's going on. Our shadow will tell us that the worst, our shadow will be like, did you hear that? Well, there's a bear over there. Well, there's a hunter come. Your shadow will start to try to protect you, but it'll tell you every illusion that it can possibly think of based on what it has previously experienced. So your relationship with your shadow determines how comfortable you are walking through life at nighttime. All right, now this is going to be an inner child. Okay, so I'm itching again. Earlier when I was recording, there's like those little bugs, I heard people talk about them when I lived in North Carolina, called no-see-ums. And I feel like there are no-see-ums, like eating them. Okay, so we have there is hope ahead. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. Hope is literally understanding that it could be another way, right? Even if you're imagining the worst, you know consciously, cognitively, that there's always another option. Even if you think it's going to be bad, you know that it can also not be so bad. And so that is where the hope comes in, right? Listen, every demon inside of me is telling me this. Every demon around me is preparing me for this. But the hope is like, but God, but, right? Let's get one more. It's like, you know how life works. Like, miracles exist. When you live in the energy of hope, you're more likely to experience a miracle because of the energy that you were carrying. And so hope is needed all the time, but more importantly, when it's nighttime and you're going for a walk, because you hope there's no crazy person. You hope there's no animal, right? You know that there is a possibility for you to get to the end of the road with no harm. That is the hope. Your shadow is going to prepare you for every demon that will jump out. But your hope, that is from your higher mind, right? That's from your higher self. Woo! Hold on. Sorry about this one. Okay. Have courage and take heart. All right. Oh, beautiful. Magic. It says you have the power now. Use your magic to attract what you want into your life. The sky is the limit. Okay. So whatever this is, whatever you're walking through, whatever this nighttime scene is, right? That your shadow self is trying to help you navigate. Listen, and you gotta love your shadow. Your shadow is like your secret service, your SWAT team. Your shadow don't fuck around. Your shadow is not gonna let nothing happen to you. And so everything that you've ever endured, your shadow has not forgotten because it doesn't want you to go through it again. But at the same time, you have to temper your shadow. You have to tell it or give it the appropriate light to navigate with, right? You've got to shine light. The light that the Most High is asking you to deliver to your shadow self is hope, courage, that you know what? When I walk down this dark road, everything could go wrong. But at the same time, I could also get to the end of the dark road, right? And when you get to the end of the dark road, it was not for nothing. Maybe the end of the dark road, maybe that is that caterpillar phase, and at the end, you become the butterfly. But to get to the metamorphosis, you got to be in a cocoon for 20 days, 21 days. I think it's 21 days or about 3 weeks. So listen, before you get your wings, you will be in a cocoon. Maybe that's the shadow. Maybe that's the illusion. I'm never going to get out. Will I ever be a butterfly? Will I ever fly? Will I ever make it through this process? That's the energy. And then bam, as soon as you bust out of the cocoon, magic. You can fly. You ain't never flown before. You were crawling all them years and now you're flying. Like, that's the magic of it. Right? So you might be in the cocoon right now and your shadow could be going crazy. And spirit is like, listen, you better put some hope in that shadow. Put some hope in that shadow because you're going to get out of the cocoon. Like, there's only one way through this. You're a butterfly. Like, the codes are in you. You were always going to be this butterfly. Your codes were only programmed for you to come this way. So don't allow your shadow to trick you out of your own spot. Okay, I love you. Thank you so much. This next one is going to be for NSHW3SM. I'm going to start you at 116.44. Okay, here we go. All right, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. Okay, now I just wanted to shuffle, but since a card came out, I'm going to keep it, okay? I just wanted to shuffle just in between readings, you know, just to kind of mix up some energy. A card came out, so I'm definitely going to keep it. Let me shuffle this deck, and then I'll start with your charm. After I pull your charm, I will flip our 3-minute timer, okay? So here we go. NSHW3SM. Let's start with a charm. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so we have the Eiffel Tower. So Eiffel Tower is in Paris, France. Okay, and is it called the Tower of Lights? Is that the name? So France could be significant. French could be, the language, French could be significant. Tourist attractions, towers, this icon, this symbol, this specifically. But you also can look up the significance, you know. So I imagine this to be, you know, every readings to me are like research projects. And so the Eiffel Tower, if you don't mind, do a mini research project. It can be watching a YouTube video, a short about the Eiffel Tower, but I feel like if you were to watch something specifically about this, you will discover something that maybe you didn't know, but whatever it is that you were supposed to discover is absolutely unique to you, okay? So, Eiffel Tower for you, okay? I'm gonna move that over here. I'm gonna flip our timer, and I'm gonna pull our first card. Okay, there we go. All right, first card, we've got emotional withdrawal. So in traditional tarot, that is the 8 of Cups. Listen, knowing when to pull back emotionally is emotional maturity. When you keep pouring into a situation that really doesn't have the ability to pour back into you, or when you're pouring into something and the impact of your intentions after all of that work and energy is not amounting to a fair, honest, and true outcome, the emotional withdrawal is like, okay, so I've been pouring. The emotional withdrawal is like, I'm done. Right? And when you say you're done, it's not like a fuck this. It's like, I'm done. I'm done because, you know, it's a self. I'm done because I love myself. You know, I'm done because I understand what this is doing to me, self-deprecation, right? I'm done because, and so when you're done, it's not a mental done, but it's an emotional. It's I'm done with love. I'm pulling back with love, right? Primarily love of self, right? Because when we are not operating ourself effectively, truly, when we're pouring into another, we're not really doing them justice because we're not able to even give the best parts of us, right? So the emotional withdrawal can be because of what you were pouring into, or it can be because you were pouring into something without really having what you needed. You know, you're really pouring from an empty cup. So sometimes we pull back to fill our cup to make sure that we can pour again. Okay. Okay, I like to get one, just so I can be very clear about the message, you know, the message that's coming through. But I got 2, so we're going to keep them. Okay. So we have let it go. You can do hard things. So first one, let it go. Let go of all that no longer serves you. So here it is, the emotional withdrawal. When you pull back, you are pulling back with purpose. You're not pulling back to wallow or for sadness or grief. You are pulling back to release, meaning like, I need to stop pouring because I am being asked to put the cup down. I got to put the cup down, right? I'm pulling back because I'm just supposed to let go. That's what it is, okay? So when you pull back emotionally, not only do you stop pouring, but you also put that cup down. Now, cups can be people, places, jobs, anything that you emotionally tied yourself to. This is literally putting the cup down, okay? The next thing, it said you can do hard things. It is not as impossible as it may feel. Whatever this cup is that you are putting down, it may feel like it will be the death of you, honestly, right? Spirit is saying you can do this. And remember when I started to shuffle my first deck, the card that came out, I said, I'll just keep it. It has ending. It says you may leave a position or be terminated. However, there's always a new opportunity ahead. You may change careers entirely. So this is stop pouring, put the cup down, walk away. It will be hard, but remember that any ending is really the beginning of another, right? The universe knows no difference between an ending and a beginning because we're just cycling through our life. Like we're just cycling through. Nothing ends. Cups. Now listen, real talk. Yes, shit ends. Relationships end. Job ends. But what I'm saying is you don't end. you existing with a certain cup in your hand ends, but you don't end. You will pick up another cup. You will pour again, but you won't be pouring with this cup, and you won't be pouring into that cup, right? So whatever this ending is, it may be challenging. Maybe you need a vacation. That's why we got the Eiffel Tower, you know? But this message was for you, so I hope it was beneficial. I love you. Thank you for being a part of this space, and I'll see you soon. All right, Ivon, this message is going to be for you. I'm going to start you at 123.35. 123.35 for Ivon. Okay, Ivon. So I've got 3 decks here. I'm just going to shuffle them up. I just like to shuffle them in between the readings. And then I will pull a charm. And after the charm, I'll go ahead and flip our 3-minute timer. All right, here we go. All right, Ivon. All right, let's go ahead and get your charm. Okay, and we have a heart. All right, Ivon, so this is our charm. It's a heart. Now, I do think the type of heart matters. This kind of reminds me of like the jewelry hearts that you see on the necklaces, so it's kind of like a loose heart. So we'll keep this in mind, and we'll see what else comes out, okay? So we got a heart. That's the heart chakra. I think of relationship. I think of emotions, compassion, being vulnerable. All right, 2 cards flipped. I typically like to get 1. All right. So, Ivon, we have, now this says emotional loss. In traditional tarot, this would be the 5 of Cups. And so this is the energy of being a part of something, recognizing that whatever you were a part of, it didn't pan out in the way that you had hoped, right? I'm pouring myself into this because this is the outcome, right? After you've poured into it for however long, there are some changes that come. And when these changes come, the same cups that you've been pouring into have been knocked over. Now, the Most High could have knocked them over. The other, but nonetheless, they're knocked over. And this is the energy of really not being able to focus on anything else except for the fact that what I have been pouring myself into is gone. That is the energy of this card. That is the emotional loss. It's your heart cry. It's a heart cry, and these are real moments. These are real moments. Now, not in this image, but in traditional tarot, there's a person sitting on the ground and they're crying and they're looking at the 3 cups that are poured over and they're grieving. Now, behind them are 2 shiny cups ready for what comes next. Now, there are moments in life where you have to focus on everything that was just spilled out, and then this is all a part of the grief, right? When you finally accept what was lost, it's like, okay, I guess I got to keep going. As soon as you turn around to keep going, you're like, there's 2 more cups, but that is a process. That is not overnight, a week, a month, a year. No, it is a process. So I say that to say, be gentle with self as you go through this process. There's no process that fits the same 2 people. Everything is unique to you, right? So we're starting with the energy of emotional loss. Next card says, there is hope. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. So I was kind of describing hope as, the star card, hope is the star card in traditional tarot. So the star card comes after the tower. The tower moment is devastation, right? The tower is anything that you've been building that was not on a solid foundation, that was not built on truth, that was not built on clarity. Anything that is being built that is not really being built on divine principles at some point will collapse. But the building of it was the lesson, right? The collapse of it was always the outcome. It was in the building that you were really supposed to acquire the lessons. I say that to say that the collapse does not mean that it was all for loss, right? The collapse does not mean that it was for loss. Like, Every brick that you laid to build it was a brick that was teaching you and taking you somewhere. Now that it collapses, right? And here's the hope. When the tower collapses and you see everything on the floor and it's just like, oh my God, here's the hope. It's like in the rubble, you find something and you're like, oh God, I remember this, or something that gives you joy, right? Imagine going through a natural disaster. Your home there's rubble, but then you see like a picture frame or a piece of jewelry or a locket or something. And whatever you pick up, it gives you such a feeling of peace that it instills in you that, listen, I can live again. I can feel again. I can love again. I can go pour in another cup. Somebody will pour in my cup again. That is the hope. It's looking for something you can salvage even after devastation or destruction, loss, grief, and endings. Just finding a small thing. Faith. What is faith? Biblically, we hear you only need faith that is the size of a mustard seed. Hope is the same way. You just need a small piece to hang on to. Don't let it all go away. Hang on to those pieces that remind you of the next possibility, right? Another example, let me just say this. I was giving somebody the example of walking outside at nighttime versus walking outside in the daytime. Now, in the daytime, you really don't have to hope if you're going to make it to the end of the street because like you can see there's nothing really scaring you. But in night, when you're walking at night, you don't know if you're going to get to the end of the street because you don't know what can come out. Hope is the part of you where your shadow is like, yeah, everything can go wrong. Maybe I don't make it to the end. There's nothing but darkness. Anything can be lurking. The hope says, but you know that there is still a possibility to get to the end of the street without anything else going wrong, right? Okay, let's get one from this one. Okay, so we have perspective, all right? And it's a black swan. That might be significant. If you change the way you look at things, you could see everything in a brand new light that will help you get where you want to be. So this is giving me the energy of, and I just want to say this, how this is a heart, but it's like a loose heart. So imagine that like when life is going well, like our heart is like, it's a heart, like you can tell it's a heart. But then like when shit starts getting crazy, it's like, And so I kind of see this as a heart that momentarily lost its shape. You still know it's a heart, but it's not as tight. It's a little loose, right? It's like, it's a heart, but it could, And so maybe this is the perspective shift. Maybe it's a heart, but not really, because you're not feeling really, And so I feel like Spirit is asking you to go through the loss, the grief, accept it. It is only when you accept it that change can happen, right? As long as we refuse to accept what is really in front of us, we're going to keep living in it. We have to keep living in it. When you say, fine, I don't like it, but I accept that this is what it is now. As soon as you do that, you develop a whole new perspective that will get you through it, right? As long as you refuse to accept it, you're going to only be to it. You don't want to just be to it. You want to be through it. And so the perspective is what gets you through it. But you've got to accept. But you've got to just allow yourself to grieve. Okay? Ivon, I love you. I thank you for loving me. Kaylin, you're next. I'm going to start you at 132.12. Kaylin, 132.12. Okay, Kaylin, so I've got 3 decks here. I just like to give them a quick shuffle in between the messages. Okay, now I'm going to start with the charm, and then after the charm, I'll flip our 3-minute timer, and then I'll pull 3 cards to see what our message is. Okay, Kaylin, thank you for coming on last week's live. I know the energy was weird, and I love you guide me. I love how you guide self, because the way you describe self, it reminds me like, yes, that is the perspective. So thank you for being real and just sharing self and being like, yeah, it got weird. Like, thank you. Thank you for being you. Okay. So Kaylin, here we go. Let's get your charm. Okay, so I'm going to keep them both. I got 2. Kaylin, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to show you. Okay? Is it just like a decorative thing, or does it have a tool? Maybe that's why I got 2. I don't know if this has a purpose or if it is just some type of tool, okay? I don't know if you can see that. But this is the next one I got. We know what this is. So this is faith. This is like, the symbol for Christ, Christianity, faith, right? And so this could be significant to you. This is where you could be aligned, or this is where you could just be parked energetically in your own life. Really, a leaf fell. So yes, faith. Okay? All right, here we go. I'm going to put that here. All righty. So let's get 3. Okay, so we have sacral chakra. Sacral chakra. Listen, sometimes I get sacral and solar plexus mixed up. So I'm going to just do this the right way and make sure I get it right for you. Let me just... Energy of the sacral chakra. Okay, so in the event that you've been working on your chakras, the sacral chakra comes up to you. This is associated with pleasure, creativity, sensuality, intimacy, and emotions, right? The color is orange. The element is water. It's just below the belly button near our reproductive organs. Listen to this. When the sacral chakra is balanced, Kaylin, you will feel comfortable expressing your emotions. You will feel like the way you explore your sexuality is healthy. You will be inspired to pursue or to go after your own creativity. Also, you will be able to connect with others, right? When we're talking about sensuality or sexuality, it's not always an intimate thing, but it's about your ability to kind of connect energetically, to not really, our reproductive organs, it's really about, I almost said co-creating, but it's procreating, right? Making life. Every time you connect with a human, you're not always going to make a baby, but it's the energy that you live in when you're open to connections of all kind, not just intimate. When we are not balanced in our sacral chakra, you have difficulty expressing your emotions. You may have intimacies with intimacy, feeling touched, feeling comfortable when touched, feeling relaxed when touched, feeling safe when touched, right? Low creativity, feeling like you ain't had a creative spark in a decade, that kind of thing, right? Or emotionally dependent on others. And so the sacral chakra is, listen, can I fill my own cup, or do I have to go somewhere else to have my cup filled, right? And so this is about pure intimacy that is healthy. Not all intimate connections are truly healthy. Some are codependent, where you feel like I can only feel good or safe or secure if I have this person attached to me or pouring into me, but when you are independent, you can stand strong in your own sexuality and know that even when I am uncoupled, I am still, lovable and, dripping with like just that sexuality. I think of seduction. You can carry that own energy without needing to. When I think of seduction, I feel like it's really getting out of life what you want. When you think about seducing someone, you're seducing them to get what you want. But that is the energy that you can also carry so that the universe understands what you are calling from it, right? But when you're not sure of self, when you're not sure of your own creativity, when emotionally you don't know if you can fill your cups and be balanced and good on your own, it's kind of hard to like co-create with the universe and be like, hey, universe, I want to make a baby, and whatever that baby is, it could be a business, could be anything. But if you don't feel like you have that ability, then sometimes you may rely on others to co-create with, not knowing that literally you and the universe can do this all by yourself, right? Oh, I already pulled from that one. Now this one is going to be kind of like an inner child energy. Inner child often talks about those subconscious thoughts. It says, the way. Trust your intuition on this journey, right? So we started off with faith, but I also started off with this. I really wish, you know what this makes me think of? It may not be, but I almost think of a metronome. Isn't that the little musical tool that kind of counts the notes or counts the beats or rest or space in between notes? I almost thought of it as like one of those. And so you know the way. Trust your intuition. Let's get one more message. I often see this fish with the cross on the back of cars, you know, as bumper stickers. All right, let's go ahead and get one. This is kind of like, no, okay. So listen, we're talking about relationships, Kaylin. It says business partners, office love affairs, and communication with coworkers are highlighted now. Make choices with extreme care. So your sacral chakra is giving you messages. We know what happens when the sacral chakra is balanced versus unbalanced. So think of yourself right now, Kaylin. Based on the messages that I described, would you be balanced or unbalanced, right? Why? Spirit is saying, however your sacral chakra is revealing itself to you, trust your intuition. You know the way. So if you're not feeling safe and secure emotionally or intimate in a situation, there's a reason why. If you are feeling safe and secure, there's a reason why. But you also want to make sure that you are not the reason. Like, you want to make sure that you are not a roadblock, right? Because sometimes the things that have happened in our past will position us to show up in relationships in a certain way. We could totally want love, but if we've been abused by it, then when we show up, we're showing up with armor. Like we're almost ready to fight for it, but sometimes we don't always have to fight for it. Nonetheless, the energy in your womb is revealing something to you. Intuitively, those are your waters. The waters are your womb, are connected to the waters of the mother, right? Like, listen, the position of the moon definitely impacts the waters in your own womb. That is your intuition. So you're not only connected to self, but you are connected to something beyond self. And the way you are moving within your womb in terms of relationships means something. So trust it, but also make sure that you are balanced in your own womb before making an attempt or before going out, right? Like, you want to make sure you're showing up in a relationship when you're good, like when you're straight and steady. So that when your intuition speaks to you, you're getting the messages appropriately. We're not kind of misreading anything. So maybe you know what this symbol is, but definitely we know what this one is, okay? This immediately when I see it, faith, okay? This is about relationships, Kaylin. I love you. Thank you so much for loving me and for being here. Okay, grounded extracts. Hey, boo, I'm going to start you at 141.14. 141.14. Grounded extracts. Okay, thank you for stopping by last week's live, and I'm glad that I get to do this one for you, so thank you so much. All right, here we go. So I've got 3 decks here. I'm going to start with our charm, then I'm going to flip our 3-minute timer, and then I'm going to pull you 3 cards. Okay, here we go. All right, grounded extracts. Let's get a charm. Okay, what do I get? Ooh, shears. Now, I say shears just because, you know, these are super fancy. Now, these could, I looked these up one time. So these could be cutting shears. These could be, but at the same time, look at the handle. Doesn't it look like an angel? All right, we're going to put it to the side. Okay, so what does this signify? We can just call them scissors. We can call them shears. But something about the handle, though. Okay, here we go. Let's see why that's necessary. So is there something that needs to be cut out? Something that needs to be cut off? Something that needs to be cut away? You know, I mean, we could just cut, right? But this gives me the energy of what is being removed. This could be cords. These could be cords being cut, right? So first card out is Emperor. So listen, the Emperor's not The Emperor's not messing around, almost cursed. So we have authority. The Emperor knows self. The Emperor is not afraid. The Emperor is not afraid to say who's boss. So now when I see these shears, I feel like somebody who is in their power is holding these shears like that's not afraid to just snip, snip. Those can be people, places, things, habits of behavior, ways of being. But this is like when you're in your own authority, you're not sorry. You're not going to feel bad for making, listen, a cut is final. Once you cut something, you can't reattach it, right? I mean, you can, but like, no, when you cut it, it's, you know that you're cutting it. You know that you're cutting it because you didn't want it attached. And so that's like the energy of standing in your own authority and being like, no, like I'm done. You know, that's what I kind of got from that. All right. Now this is kind of the inner child. These are like those subconscious. It says, get lost, fall deep into the realm of imagination. So one of the reasons why something may need to be removed, cut off, cut out, or cut away is because mentally it's clogging up your own space. You know, getting lost. Have you ever watched children play? My two boys, they can totally put away their iPads and they can take a bucket of toys and they can sit there and play for hours in a variety of different ways because they have access to their imagination. Now, as their mom, I recognize as a little girl, I wasn't able to do that because I had already acquired so much trauma and toxicity and abuse by age 4 and 5 that I couldn't imagine my mind. I didn't have access to my mind. So I love seeing my children play. I love understanding their imagination because it tells me that they still have access to it. That is the part of you that you are being asked to access, to get lost in, to be childlike, to wonder, to imagine, to dream. It doesn't matter what your life looks like right now. You can go anywhere mentally. Anywhere mentally. And so Spirit is asking you to get lost in your own mind. Maybe whatever was cut off was stopping you from getting lost in your own self, right? Maybe something was hindering you, blocking you. But once you're in your own authority, it's like, I'm cutting this off. I'm in my power. And now I'm about to fall deep into me. I'm about to fall deep into me, right? Nobody else, nothing else, me. All right, let's get a final one. Okay, I typically like one to come out, but okay. So we have reflection. So get lost and then reflection. I'll show you and then I'll read it. It says, take time to revisit the past and figure out what you want to do. Knowing what you don't like will truly show you what you love. Okay, so get lost in yourself so that you can discover the things that you love. When you get lost in all the shit that you didn't love so that you can know, I'm not doing that again, I'm not repeating that again, because you know what I mean. So you're getting lost so that you can be found. But when you're being found by the truest form of self, the inner child, the innocence, just the fun, like that little kid type of energy is what you want to get lost in. But you're also reflecting on all of the things that didn't allow you to do that, or all of the things that hindered you from doing that, right? And so Spirit's saying it's safe to get lost. You're standing in your authority. You are coming out as the Emperor. That is the Emperor card. This would be the Emperor card in traditional tarot, right? But this is somebody who's in their power. And they're like, you know what? If I get lost in anything, I'm going to get lost in me. Okay? And so you're reflecting. You're not reflecting. You know, you're only reflecting to pull the meat and to spit out the bones of the past. So anytime you look to your past, you're grabbing the meat and spitting out the bones. You're only taking the meat forward with you. So these shears could talk about finally having the power and standing in your own authority to cut ties or sever things that stopped you from really being able to move forward in the life you truly love. Okay. I love you, Grounded Extracts. Thank you for being you and loving on me. All right, next up I have Marion from the Netherlands, specifically asked about justice. I'm starting you at 147.44, Marion. 147.44. 4. All right, Marion, let me go ahead and shuffle these really quickly. All right. I'll shuffle these really quickly. Okay, Marion, so I'm going to start with a charm. After I pull your charm, I'll go ahead and flip our 3-minute timer, and then I'll pull your 3 cards, okay? So here we go. Marion from the Netherlands. Okay, got one. Oh, look. All right, Marion, we got a ladybug. I freaking love ladybugs. What is it? Eric Carle is one of my favorite children's book authors, and there's a children's book called The Grouchy Ladybug. And I think that there's this ladybug that like flies around to different animals and creatures, and she tries to pick a fight with them. And whenever they are ready to fight with her, she's like, oh, never mind. So I think of the grouchy ladybug. That can be significant to you, but what do ladybugs mean to you? Now, whenever a charm comes, I ask that you Google spiritual significance of ladybugs, right? So that you can understand why this charm was the one to present itself to you, okay? So now I'm going to pull 3 cards, and I'm going to turn the timer. So the first card that comes out is authority. Now, in traditional tarot, that is the Emperor card. Listen, this is not only having a kingdom, but it is running your kingdom unapologetically. Listen, and this isn't about being a brute. This isn't about being a dictator. This is just understanding your power. This is you not being afraid to use your power, okay? Which reminds me of the grouchy ladybug. Because listen, initially when the ladybug was trying to pick fights, she was picking fights with like animals that were her own size, right? But then she got to the point where she was trying to pick fights with huge animals, and they were much bigger than her. And then she kept I think she kept telling them, oh, they're not big enough or something like that. All right, let's see what's next. This is like an inner child message. Okay, so this one says, be still. Cultivate a space of stillness and silence to just be. So listen, when you are using your authority right now, based on this message, you are being asked to be still. You may have to tell people, no, right now I can't. No, I'm being called to sit. I'm being called to pray. I'm being called to fast. I'm being called to seek, right? I'm being called to sit still. I know that is what spirit, and so when we're talking about authority, this is almost like being your own bodyguard, right? Sometimes you got to be 2 people. You got to be your shadow. Your shadow is your secret service. Your shadow is your SWAT team, right? All that dark energy, that's the energy that lets no one fuck with you. So listen, the authority is no, I need to be no, right? When I put these 2 cards together, that's what I get, right? Sometimes you just have to be. Sometimes you need to close your gates, your eye gates, your ear gates, close your mouth, close every orifice. When I say be still, listen, it's lunch. You know how I'm thinking about mostly Spain, but they have a nap time, a siesta, where all the business is closed down. When spirit is asking you to be still, you are being asked to close your windows, close your doors, turn off your phones, right? Nobody's home. Why? Because you need that stillness, you need that peace, you need that silence in order to just exist. Let's figure out why. And you may have to stand your ground in order to just be still. Sometimes people don't like when we pull back or when we take a time out, and then we have innovation. So it says you will need to come up with new strategies to keep your plans in motion. Old ways are outdated. Invent, create, and test ideas. So I know you were talking about justice. Now I don't know what the justice entails. So I'll just generally talk about justice. Justice is saying, okay, back to normal, right? Now, many times in life, these are the scales, right? Now, when justice comes, it means it's finally the point where things are balanced, things are fair, and things are equal. Now, if you are looking for the energy or the experience or the momentum in your life to reflect justice back to you, to reflect fairness or equality for anything, you are being asked to close down for business. Shut your business down, meaning shut down you. Shut the business of you down. And be firm as you stand in that. Cut yourself off from others. But why? Your justice, listen, the greatest revenge is getting better. The greatest revenge is winning when they wanted you to lose. So you are being asked to stand in your authority, be still, because in stillness you are going to be giving a seed. This seed can be a plan, a strategy, or an idea, but it will be something that you will be able to grow. Many times, spiritually speaking, your justice is going to be you getting better when nobody else wanted you to. So, in order to bring in the energy of justice, in order to balance the scales and to make things fair, there's a portion that you must do. Be the emperor. Be the controller of your own life. Shut down business. Once business is shut down, find stillness, find peace. It is in the stillness and the peace of your own energy that seeds, ideas, and strategies are going to come to you. Those are going to be the forms of justice that you are going to be able to sow. So in the event that sometimes we must take justice into our own hands, I am telling you how to bring in that energy and how to push it out. If you want it to come, do this, okay? So, Marion, I love you. I hope that makes sense. Okay, Wendy, Bentley, 2711. I'm going to start you at 155. Okay. Hi, Wendy. Okay, Wendy. So literally every time I see your comment or your face, something about like, there are just certain thumbnails or certain, I don't know, just certain thumbnails. Yeah. Sometimes they're not always pictures of the person, but your face. And there's another one, Diella Daily. When I see those two thumbnails, they're just so warm. They just feel like candles. They feel warmth. They feel like light. So thank you for being you, Wendy. You are my last one. I guess we're saving the best for last. Okay, so Wendy, I'm going to start with a charm, and then I'm going to flip our 3-minute timer, and I'm going to pick 3 cards. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. So charm. Okay, Wendy, so we have a music note. So music can be significant to you. Maybe you sing, maybe you play instrument, maybe you're musical. Music is a vibration. Music is therapeutic. So something about music is significant to you for this time. Maybe you were being asked to use music, right? Let's see what comes out next. Maybe there are certain songs that if you listen to them, they will have messages. So sometimes even just randomly playing playlists or randomly turning something on that will flip through music and just kind of seeing what your heart or your spirit picks up, you can find messages like the universe is going to give you what it wants you to know, no matter what. Listen, spirit, meaning like our spirit team, our spirit guides, they are so crafty in how they deliver messages to us. So maybe downloads or messages will come to you through music, okay? All right, let's go ahead. Now, I'm just going to keep them both. I typically like one card to come. I'm going to flip our timer, Wendy. So what we have now is the shadow and the waiting game. So the shadow card is kind of like the moon card, right? And the moon card talks about illusions. The waiting game, this is like the 2 of Wands. This is like, in the process of scheduling and scheduling and deciding what comes next, right? But when these two come out together, I feel like in the event you are waiting for something, be mindful of how your shadow is waiting, right? Because your higher self and your shadow self, they interpret life differently. So shadow waiting game. The way I describe the shadow is, imagine going for a walk at nighttime down your street. Imagine going for a walk during the daytime down your street. Now, when do you feel safest? Walking during the day when you can see everything, or walking at night when visibility is obscured, right? We don't know if there's an animal or a creepy person, like we can't see. Now, your shadow is going to tell you everything it possibly can to stop you from walking. Why? Because it doesn't want you to get hurt. Your shadow is like your bodyguard, your SWAT team. Like, it wants to keep you safe. So it is relying on every bad thing that you've ever been through, and it's saying, hey, don't you remember all those bad things? Don't do that. Now, the thing is that although your shadow knows all of the things that could potentially go wrong when you walk down the street at night, there's always the possibility that you can make it to the end of the street with nothing going wrong. And so I feel like your shadow and the waiting game, meaning, first of all, there are certain things. Here's the thing. If you feel like you're waiting on something, I feel like the shadow is the illusion. There are certain things you can't see. Almost like, don't walk at night, Wendy. Just wait till the sun comes up and walk in the morning. That's the energy I get with the shadow and the waiting game. The reason why your shadow is so strong right now is because maybe it's the illusions are strong because we're still waiting on the appropriate time, right? And so instead of going out at night when you're scared of everything, let's just wait a few more hours till the sun comes up and then you can see it, okay? That's kind of the energy I get. All right, now let's pull, this is kind of like an inner child card. Alrighty. So, it says write a letter. Write a letter to your inner child. How beautiful is that? So listen, while we wait for the illusions to sort themselves out, right? It's not yet time to see everything. This is the waiting game. And so now the only game we're playing is the wait game. But the Most High is saying, while you wait for the illusions to make themselves known, while you wait for clarity, write a letter. Who are you writing a letter to? Write a letter to little Wendy. What would you tell little Wendy today? Right? How old are you today? When is your birthday? So like today is December 15th. How many days into your birthday? Say, hey, little Wendy, and so many days we're going to be this years old. You know, do we remember what we wanted to do when we turned, literally, big Wendy, write a letter to little Wendy. Listen, that may be what your shadow needs to feel safe about taking a walk down that road, okay? And the walk down the road, it could be a musical road. It could be a musical journey, but something about your inner child, and the voice of your inner child, which is going to be formed by your shadow. Now we have limitations. Okay, now we're talking. It says obstacles are not what they seem. You can get around them with some careful thought, or simply choose something better for you. Here we go. So if little Wendy were talking to big Wendy, how would big Wendy help little Wendy get around obstacles? Or what would little Wendy say? Because when we're little, we're not afraid of anything. Like, we can do everything. So think about who you were prior to the limitations, prior to life being life, prior to your shadow side forming, and all the things that helped form your shadow. What was little Wendy like prior to that? Big Wendy needs to write a letter. I hope that's really your name. I'm sorry, sweetie. But you need to write a letter to little you, okay? And when you write a letter to little you must talk about the limitations. Tell little Wendy, because little Wendy and your shadow are pretty much ace boon coons, okay? They're best friends, right? And so while you're waiting and planning and deciding and scheduling, make sure your shadow knows that any obstacle that is in front of us, it isn't what it seems. It's just nighttime and we're walking down a road at night. And listen, when the sun comes up, we're going to see that that was not a person standing there. That was just a mailbox, right? Think about in the darkness how like you can start to think all these crazy things are really figures, right? But it's not. They're just normal objects. So tell yourself in the letter that whatever you think is an obstacle or scary, it's not really what it seems. It's actually something that you can get around, but you must be careful, right? So instead of, listen, if you got to walk down the street at nighttime, little Wendy might feel better if big Wendy takes a flashlight, right? And so this is like, listen, the obstacle may still be there, but you have the ability to discover a strategy to help you get down there without being so afraid, right? And so figure out a way carefully how to get around the things that seem like obstacles or seem like challenges, right? And so while you wait for whatever to unfold, it's really time for little Wendy and big Wendy to sync up. And to recognize that anything that we thought kept us bound, it didn't keep us bound, right? We were just walking at night. And every illusion made itself known to us. And it felt real and it felt true. But if I can tell my little self that believes every fear is real, that it's really okay, look, I'll just bring a flashlight and we'll see that it's okay. That's the energy I get with this reading, Wendy. I love you so much. Thank you for being you and pouring into me and loving me. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.